And we are back with another exciting edition of Inside Career Technical Education. I am Ann Baldwin, one of the hosts of this program. And also with us today is Jim Bologa, who is the president and CEO of YTI Career Institute. And Jim, things are moving along. Things are going well at all your campuses. A lot of essential careers and positions being filled with a lot of your technical students, which is great news. So
Absolutely.
You've adjusted well to this COVID stuff, it looks like.
Yeah, we're trying, Ann. We're trying. So I'm excited to be across the table from you and your co-host again for. I'm not sure what edition this is, but we should actually
we stopped counting.
Yeah, we should actually go back and maybe number some of these, and then we can sort of say, edition number whatever 100, because we're going to have to celebrate when we get to.
Yes, of course we have to celebrate, of course, and celebrating success and celebrating the skilled trades is what we're talking about. And we want to welcome Tom Banks to this podcast. Tom is the campus director of operations and education at YTI, and I should mention Dr. Thomas Banks, because you earned it.
That's right. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate that.
So Tom's been with us for a couple of weeks now. So Tom, why don't you just maybe talk a little bit about yourself and your experience in higher ed, and and give our viewers, our listeners, a little bit of flavor of sort of who you are.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. That's a great question. I have started just recently at the York campus at YTI, and have really enjoyed meeting all the people and experiencing the great programs that we have. With regard to myself and my experience in higher ed, most recently I was a adjunct professor at Marywood University teaching school law, and always enjoyed working with students who are very much career-oriented and enjoy the interaction that I have with the students. I've also worked with Temple University and have become a certified online higher education instructor. And that's been helpful, especially as we are starting to offer many of our programs, all of our programs, basically in a blended or online format. And so that's been really helpful in my transition to my new position here as campus director. With regard to my past, I have, in my schooling, had a lot of fun in higher ed, being a business major as an undergrad, and also at Temple University, receiving my master's degree there with a focus on education administration and also human resources. And then at Marywood University up in Scranton, where I got my PhD in education administration with a focus on human development. And there also I was able to receive my superintendent's license for the state of Pennsylvania.
Wow, thus the reason you have a doctor in front of your name. Well earned and well deserved. So welcome to the family, I guess we should say. And I was up there and had the opportunity. Jim and I went up to the York campus recently, and I got to meet you in person. And what a beautiful campus York is. It really is. It's just, it's a shiny, beautiful campus, and there's a beautiful sign that works out front that lets people know updated information. So what is it that brought you to YTI, Tom?
Well, I definitely did my research in looking at what were the best opportunities in the area with regard to higher ed. And by doing that research, I learned a good deal about the programs that we offer, as well as the resources that you just spoke about. Once you step inside that building, you can really see state-of-the-art, industry-standard labs that are available to the students that really help them have hands-on learning, individualized instruction with instructors, and overall then the people. The students that I've met and the instructors that I've met are very much committed to the program. And through all of that, I thought, wow, this is a great home for me. And I was happy to be offered and accept the position as campus director.
Hey, Tom, why don't you talk a little bit about, the programs that we do offer, on the York campus?
Well, we have 9 programs here on campus. And we have veterinary tech, dental assistants, medical assistants, business administration and business operations management, CAD, computer-aided drafting and design, computer system specialist, electronics engineering and technology, electrical technology, and then heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration. So the HVAC now has the R because it includes refrigeration. And all of those programs are either online or most of them are now blended, which offers the best of both worlds with regards to meeting a person's schedule as well as providing that hands-on experience.
And there's such a great need right now, especially for the skilled trades. But there's also a need, too, we should mention, for people to, have such a passion as you do, Tom, about giving back, about educating. And what I'm getting to here, Jim, or our instructors. Maybe there's somebody out there who's in HVAC that wants to, dial it back a little bit, but not really, and become an instructor. And I see that as I talk to a lot of the instructors at all the campuses, that's really why they're there, because they want to share their experience and they want to see, these, whether they're, young folks out of high school or adult learners, they want to see them succeed and get into a skilled trade that is in such high demand right now.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. I think we're always out there, talking to folks and trying to encourage folks to consider, a career in education, especially after, you spent, many years in a trade or in a vocation. I think you have a lot to offer, and I think a lot of people just don't ever really think about that, and that they could actually make a huge difference in many people's lives, especially young folks who are. I call them young folks, but they're not. They're of all ages. But I would say that I think folks just don't necessarily make that connection that they could actually contribute to the local community and the success of a vocation that's hopefully helped them raise a family and contribute locally and all those things. And, and again, I you and I have talked a little bit about this, and, I've actually gone on TV as well and talked about the need for folks to think about, maybe you retire from, the sort of the day-to-day activity, and then you think about, coming on and becoming an educator, or conversely, we do have folks who are adjuncts who do work during the day and who might help teach at night. And we have folks who might work at night who actually help teach during the day. So, and it's a great way. I mean, I find personally, I find that when you have to educate someone, you actually get better at what you do, because you actually have to explain the why and the hows. And so I think it helps you as an educator, refine your own skills.
Mm-hmm. So, Tom, we're speaking with Tom Banks, who's the Campus Director of Operations and Education at YTI Career Institute. So you haven't been there a long time, but you seem like one of those guys that really sinks his teeth in and have already gotten your feet wet. So what do you see as the future? What are some of your priorities as you take on this new position?
We have found that offering a blended program, as I was saying earlier, really helps to provide many options for those who are interested in either starting a career in a trade or an industry, career industry, or expanding their knowledge in it. And so really our focus is providing a seamless approach to being able to offer a blended learning environment. And so one of our big focuses is to make sure that the online curriculum, the didactic curriculum that we offer to the students, is a nice complement to the hands-on experience that they have.
Even with your, some of the constraints of COVID and thing, now you've got the respiratory therapy program as well. So you could be anywhere. You could be anywhere in the United States, because that's where you have not only the online learning, but then you have your externship, or you go into your clinical.
Yeah.
You have your clinical, where you actually, that's where you get your hands on. So I've seen you all expand these programs to kind of fit with what's going on in the world. And it's a great opportunity for people to say, maybe I've been downsized, or maybe I'm in a career that's not thriving and I might not be surviving. So why not take a look at the options?
Yeah, I want to pick up on what Tom was saying. I mean, again, when you think about sort of lecture online and lab on ground, I think that it's creating much more flexibility for prospective students. So, you may not necessarily live relatively close to some of our physical campuses, being in York or Lancaster or Altoona, but I think the attractive thing now is that the labs are focused, on specific days, and so you're doing your lecture component, and then you sort of compartmentalize your lab day component. So so folks who historically maybe couldn't have made it to a campus every day, as Tom was mentioning, it does increase the flexibility. And so we're hopeful that we can reach more students who would have interest in many of these vocations, which have been deemed to be essential. Essential jobs or essential careers by the governors in all three states that we operate in. But in Pennsylvania, the governor, very explicit in executive orders during COVID that many of the programs, if not all of the programs, have been deemed to be essential.
Right. Well, this has been really interesting. We want to thank you so much, Dr. Thomas Banks. Welcome and continued success. I never say good luck. My mantra is continued success. So it was a pleasure. I'm sure we'll be checking in with you again on a regular basis to see what's new and innovative as things continue to evolve and change at all of the campuses. And we also want to let people out there know, too, that if you do want more information on any of the programs that we've talked about, you just want to do some outreach, you've got people there to assist you. We do have a number of starts that are scheduled throughout the course of the year. So why don't you go over those briefly, and then I'll tell folks how they can get that information.
Yeah, throughout the course of the year, we are really not operating on a traditional school calendar. Our schedule is year-round, and we offer opportunities year-round. And so my suggestion would be to go to our website or talk to our career and admissions specialists directly to find out what the opportunities are and how best it fits with their schedule.
And that website is yti.edu. Everything, all of the information that you could possibly need, again, at yti.edu. Well, Jim, this has been another interesting conversation with Dr. Tom Banks, and congratulations on sounds like a great hire, and really has a good outlook for all the campuses in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have Tom, and again, he's early in his tenure and already sinking his teeth into stuff, and it's a great campus, and again, I think one of the things that I've always been impressed by is just the visibility of the campus on Route 30 in York, Pennsylvania, and it's located at 1405 Williams Road, and and when you actually get on the campus, it's the industry modeled labs are really quite impressive.
And of course, we want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of Inside Career Technical Education.